Folks, welcome back. 2022 Rudy. Hope everybody had a healthy and wealthy and safe 2021 as we march into 2022. I'm going to lay out my game plan on kind of how I'm going to be approaching this year with the patrons, the market conditions, and with everything from Magic to all the Kickstarter card games. I want to give everyone my 2 cents. So let's start with Magic the Gathering, everybody. First things first. Market remains very, very weak on new product. Me as a business store owner, evil investor, I'm going to continue to be very saddled heavily with inventory of new Magic, and I'm going to keep my inventory and positions very high for any unforeseen or extreme market surprises, whether that's Wizards cutting off a product early from actually being in print or allocation or anything weird because of lack of sales or any surprises. I'm going to play this a lot more defensive going into 2022 when it comes to new Magic. I think Wizards is monitoring. I've said it already in the fourth quarter, Q4 of 2021. I think Wizards is going to be they're not going to hold any punches back. They're going to be very hardcore. I think moving into Kamigawa, next Unset, Brothers War, Quad Masters, Double Masters 2, 2x2, 4X Masters set coming up. I think it's going to be an absolute monster powerhouse, and I think it's going to be probably one of the most craziest box opening video series on the channel. It's going to be absolutely nuts, and I think it's going to be the most expensive Magic product ever released and sold, especially the Quad Masters super VIP packs or collector packs or however they market it. I think the day of $100 VIP pack is probably going to be like $120 to $150 a pack out of the gate. Now, obviously, Double Masters VIP packs from a year ago, or a year and a half ago. Oh my God, how long has it been? A year and a half ago? Really? I think it was a 2020 product, not a 2021. Double Masters VIP packs have already gone from that bottoming $80, $90 a pack. They've essentially doubled in market value, averaging about $150 a pack. So yeah, almost 100% rate of return in about 12 to 18 months. Absolutely, stupidly above average rates of return. So that's my first mindset with Magic. I think a lot of people are bearish. A lot of people are going to miss out. And I feel that everything from 2021, call time forward, call time. AFV. Isn't that America's Funniest Videos? No. Adventures Forgotten Realm, Strixhaven, both Innistrad sets, I think across the board, are going to be overly avoided. They are going to be underperform kind of attitude. People are going to avoid those items like they're toxic assets. I expect most people to not carry inventory, to keep it real low. People don't want it. So moving into 2022, I'm going to keep very high inventory of these items. I'm going to keep an eye on them. And moving to the patrons now, as of right now, I'm undecided if I'm going to eventually drop all and just discontinue all draft boxes in 2022, if I'm going to carry set and draft side by side, or if I'm going to convert completely to just set boxes or just stick with draft. I'm undecided. I've had tremendous mixed emotions from patrons, the public, people I've asked it to, other store owners, distributors. The problem is the new stuff isn't selling. Number two, the problem is there's not much motivation for me to sell or carry some of these products and tie up the tremendous, each set that I carry let me back up even further. Like for me to run the patron account and to service Giggity, all the patrons who want to buy cases of new standard Magic for $84.99 shipped to their door. For me to monitor and sell those boxes, either by a box or case or whatever, I have to order by the pallet. I have to order substantial quantities. So in other words, for each standard set I want to stock and keep in stock, I usually have to keep, I'd say $150,000 to $250,000 tied up in each standard set. So if I carry 2 standard sets for the patrons, I got to keep $400,000 to $500,000 in inventory for 2 product lines just to service them so that when they send a payment, I can get it shipped within 48 hours. Kind of one of those things. You can't just run a small build level because you'll run out and you'll have delays and we're waiting for a restock from distributors and we got a quarantine Tangerine shutdown. We got the new Optimus Prime variant. Wizards is delayed, so then everybody's in trouble. You have to be prepared with inventory at high levels, especially in this era. The whole kind of running lean, mean machines of corporate companies and inventory is very lean and LIFO, FIFO, very thin margins and most profitable. Don't be inventory heavy. Those days are over. You're still running that business model, you're fucking screwed. You ain't gonna make it. So for me to carry the 2 set boxes and 2 standard boxes, that's 4 product lines. I'm gonna have to tie up $1 million in inventory at all times just to have it flush, turn, and burn to service patrons at no profit on those items. So that's why it's very difficult for me to want to carry 4 standard sets and 4 set box sets. So 4 standard draft and 4 set draft, I apologize. That would be literally like $2 million in inventory that's just tied up getting 0% churning and burning. It becomes extraordinarily expensive, which is why most people don't want to take that route. Now, I've had people tell me, Rudy, drop the standard, we want set. You get a lot more rares per box, blah, blah, blah. And Wizards finally listened, and they've reduced the size and shape of the set boxes and actually made them realistic. So now it's something I'm considering. So the second part of the story is, when you have Amazon selling draft boxes for $90 to $100 plus tax, or set boxes for $90 to $100 plus tax, I don't know if it's really worth it to even carry the set box product line, because Papa Bezos and his giant penis rockets are just dumping endless pallets from Wizards direct for $90 to $100 a box. So is it worth it for me to carry set boxes for $89 a box? I mean, shipped and everything with all your fees? I don't know. Some people said yes, some people say no, some people say stick with the draft, that's what you're known for. So it's a very mixed bag situation with no conclusion at this point in time. I have engaged in negotiations with multiple distributors, with Wizards, as far as pallet size orders, special pricing, to sell set boxes for like the high 80s and try to get really cheap. But at the same time, I don't know if it's worth it, because I don't believe I can carry 4, 5, 6 different variants and product lines all at once and tie up. I don't know if I'm willing to, and I don't know if it's really financially responsible to tie up over $2 million every month indefinitely at 0% to churn and burn this. Because the carrying costs and everything, it starts to become it's just not attractive. If I move 2 pallets a month in standard at a loss or break even, you're talking, a loss of 5, 10, 15,000 per. It becomes the numbers get crazy. Moving on, next. Moving into 2022, a lot of things happening. We got Pokemon starting off the year very sluggish for new stuff, very weak, very negative. Again, my strategy here is to continue to hold very large inventory positions, minimum of 1 to 2 pallets of everything Battle Styles forward. Battle Styles, chilling, evolving, fusion, moving forward. That is my preliminary goal, because I still feel this is XY era 2.0. And I feel in 24, 36 months from now, it's going to be hilariously looked back on. And if I'm wrong, well, I got another guest bathroom. We'll do Rudy's Bathroom 2.0. Who the hell cares? So that's my overall. The risk versus the reward is tilted in a position where the downside risk is negligible enough to be exposed for a potential reward. It's like, if you put $100,000 into a stock, and because there's something uncertain going on, and you could lose half your money, you could go to $50,000, let's say, worst case scenario in this particular example. That's a huge downside risk. You put $100,000 in Pokemon boxes at $80, let's say, hell, 78 or something. I'm sure you can probably get less if you negotiate with a distributor at this point, because they're desperate. What's your downside? I can guarantee you, this Pokemon, that $100,000 buying it at $80 is not going to go to $40 a box. And if it does, it'd be a once in a lifetime golden egg opportunity. Not going to happen. So, 2022 entering it feels like the year of Rudy positioning, being bagged down with giant heavy bags of inventory. And I think it's going to be worth it by the time we look back on this video in a year from now. Because I feel like the market will turn some point into the year. And it could be a Q1, it could be Q2, Q3, may make it all the way to the end of the year before anything changes. Or we just have a bear market, the stock market collapses, real estate's for free, and the government just flies around dropping buckets of money and money machine go burr and 20. We don't know. I can't predict it. I am not going to pretend like I can. I'm just telling you how I'm going to position everything. Next, to start off the year, I guess for the patrons, we're going to start off with a Rudy Remains sale on tonight on January 1st, which is pretty much going to be all kinds of random. You're going to have MetaZoo, Flesh and Blood, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon. You can kind of just pick whatever you want at cheap prices, and whether or not you want it and build a position, or you missed out on the sale from last year. That's up to you. Some patrons buy everything. Some patrons buy every month. Other huge chunk of patrons never buy anything at all. They just like to watch the craziness. That's up to you. Don't care either way. I at least like to provide people with options. Now, moving into later in January, we have the MetaZoo Cryptid Nation 2nd edition with, yes, new secret rares and some weird things with this product coming that are hidden in it. We are going to have Rudy's favorite new Rudy card coming. The only thing I'm going to tell you is the card is called Bootleg Rudy. Since it's second edition, he's trying to be cool. This 2.0 Rudy is trying to be cool like the original Rudy. The only difference is, well, he's not as cool, so he's a little roughed up looking. He's got a kind of a Halloween mask on, trying to be cool with a giant mustache. And all I can tell you is he's kind of at a location that looks like the headquarters of maybe Wizards of the East. It kind of, you know, he's creeping through the parking lot. He's creeping through their building. I don't know what's going on, but it's probably my favorite promo card we've ever done. And it's going to be absolutely epic. Price point on this thing is going to be pretty cheap. We're looking at keeping the price, like, I mean, you know, a couple booster, I would assume a couple booster boxes, all the promo items, play mats, actually the upgraded play mats, supposed to finally have the really good rubber play mats, the promo card, the accessory items, the spell books, I'm assuming spell books, blister pack, everything. And I mean, it's going to be pretty cheap. I think we're targeting $400 to $500 range. So it's probably going to be very aggressively sold very quickly. The goal was, I think, like 1,500 kits, plus or minus. I'm trying to get to 2,000 kits, but it may be 1,000. Depends on the supply. We're having some issues getting the full supply. We've got like half, and so that'll be a fun thing coming in a few weeks. And of course, coming up with end of the month, first week of February is going to be the Everfest with a absolutely wild launch, everybody. Also keep in mind, with Magic going into February, we have the Kamigawa returns. Absolutely. Ooh. Pretty exciting thing. I'm actually kind of excited about this one. It's been a while. Like the Innistrad sets, I like the Dracula theme. It's fun, but man, this Kamigawa set, everybody, looks like a lot of fun. This thing looks, I have a funny feeling too. There's going to be some hidden surprises that we're not going to find out till the product releases. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some hidden serialized artists. There's going to be, I know the collector boxes of 2021 have all been really weak. In other words, there's no point in buying it. Just wait for the price to tank kind of attitude. We all know that. But just be careful. Because if Kamigawa comes out and it turns out the collector boxes or something have some hidden thing is discovered or posted online or shared on OnlyFans and something comes out, you're going to see an immediate market, just the market's going to roll over and it's going to just swing and the market's going to shift so quick you're not going to be able to realize it. So again, I'm going to say it before. I'm going to say it again. The downside risk, to me, is still worth staying the course versus the upside. So you have to look at, you know, even if you bought, what's I think in the filming this video, Kamigawa was like $215 a collector box. Even if you got in at $200 a box, okay? Let's say something comes out. What's the worst case scenario? What's the worst case? It drops to 170. So think, I mean, okay, 160. So you're literally saying doomsday scenario is a 20% loss. That's doomsday scenario. And if something else happens or changes or shifts or print run or a surprise or supply reduction, look at the upside of potential. In the Wall Street investment world, when you only have a 20% downside risk and you have potential for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% upside, that's a very attractive negative to positive ratio. And I don't want to get into all that goofy crap and, you know, acronyms and all that, but that's how I have to look at this stuff. And I'm telling you all, don't underestimate Wizards in 2022. I'm telling you right now, after the bear market of Flesh and Blood, because all the collectors and evil investors bailed, and it's just Flesh and Blood is just an army of players, record number of people playing. Don't underestimate Flesh and Blood in 2022. The company, Legendary Studios, is aware of it. They check all this stuff. They pay attention. They're not going to hold back. Everfest with its carnival slot and surprises. I think we're going to see some surprises. Same thing. When you go over to Pokemon, Pokemon knows what's going on. They told everybody they were going to increase the print run. They were going to cool off the market. They did, but it doesn't mean it's printed to oblivion. Doesn't mean it's worthless. It just means you can't buy it. In the days of quick 2020 free tendies and GME and AMCs and rocket emojis, the rocket's out of fuel. It's over with, folks. That era is done, which is okay. We all enjoyed it. It was a wild ride. We're going to look back at it the rest of our life, and we're going to be like, man, what a fucking crazy time. So here we are. I just want to give everyone my position. Last but not least, Rudy's speculative directions. I'm going to drop the end of this video because I know the views, nobody watches this far. My personal goals into 2022 are to continue to expand the reserve list, continue to expand privately, because you're not going to see any information on this channel about it. I'm continuing to expand my Lego investment position. We're trying to get to 6 to 7 figures. And then we're also going to continue to expand Pokemon sealed product across the board. We're going to continue to buy and continue to expand into first edition cold foil for Flesh and Blood and first edition boxes because people want to keep selling because everyone's throwing the towel. So my goal is to continue to expand in all these different directions. I'm still going to continue to expand. And of course, like I do every other year in my life, I'm going to add to my equity and stock positions. Anytime we have a market dip, I'm going to buy the dip. As far as real estate goes, I don't have any personal plans in my personal life to buy any additional real estate at this time. I'm pretty content where I am. There's kind of plenty of exposure. But if we have a market downturn, something shakes things up, definitely it could become attractive again. When it comes to high-end things like the reserve list with Magic, be aware, folks. Be aware. I've said it in the last 6 months. Reserve list is quiet. Prices aren't going up like crazy. Nothing dramatic's happening. But I'm telling you all, out of nowhere, it's going to turn. The same thing with Pokemon. By the way, next we're going to jump over to Weiss. A lot of people, love, hate Weiss, anime, wafu, giant boobs, all this stuff, whatever. Point is, Weiss looks like about 3 weeks ago, beginning of December, I apologize, Weiss appears to have bottomed out. So the last 3-4 new releases from Seven Deadly Sins, Quintessential Quintuplets, Fate Stay, what am I missing? Slime Volume 2, RWBY. It looks like a lot of these sets, a couple stores are panicking, and about 4 or 5 stores unloaded all their inventory between $50 and $60 a box. Completely flushed the market. Now we're seeing the market turn. We're seeing most of these boxes went from 55 low back to 60, 65, some are back to 70. You're seeing the whole market turn. Why? Because the weak hands were scared. They need to raise capital for Q4. Holidays, spending, people overspend. We're Americans. We're told every Hallmark holiday, get into debt, dump all our cash flow into the economy, stimulate, money machine go bird, because we're all Timmies, right? Now we're seeing the Weiss market turn. It does appear, as of the filming of this video, the Weiss market has bottomed out. Even Data Bullet, for like a 6-day period, was just collapsed in price to like $22 a box. Absolutely. I don't know if you really had, it was like a day or so that it lasted. And according to its sold transactions, I think one person just bought them out. It wasn't me. I already had my position. But I just couldn't believe how cheap it got. Now, we're already seeing that thing's already moved like 30% off of its lows. Across the board, we're seeing it's starting to feel like end of November, beginning of December, during that holiday blowout red tag sale, it's starting to feel like that was the bottom. I don't want to call it yet. Too soon to tell. But over the next 30 days, as we go through January, as we hit February 1st, if we continue this trend and we don't start tanking back down, I am going to make a follow-up video that, well, it looks like a lot of these items actually bottomed in November, December, or Q4 of 2021, which is going to be very, very interesting. Still expanding and still trying to build very heavy positions in every Weiss product. Huge believer in it. Other news, haven't been talking about it much. Need to catch up on the Force of Will category. If you're not aware, there's even been some Force of Will. There's like 1 or 2 Force of Will sets. Like I had contact the other day. Somebody is selling their Force of Will booster boxes from like I think it was like a year ago. They're like $400 to $500 a box. It went from like $70, $80 a box to like $450 a box, and there's like none left. So there's been some shenanigans, even in the Force of Will market. I couldn't believe that. That shocked me. It's a really extreme swing. I don't know if I'd recommend buying at 500, but hiccup. Sorry, everybody. That's that. I think that's about it on everything. Just want to catch everybody up. What you can expect going into the year. I still think there's going to be tremendous opportunity for 2022. I really want to lay that out there. I know a lot of people are very burned, very negative, very kind of throw in the towel and quit kind of thing. But I feel like the reset we went through in the last Q3, Q4 of Flesh and Blood and Pokemon, and I kind of feel like it's a good thing. I think we're going to look back on it, and that's going to build a stronger foundation for moving forward. And I think the kicker is most people are going to miss out. And that's my mindset for everything. I have a very positive outlook for this year. I mean, considering we're coming out of the 2020 crash, 2021 was just wacky. 2022 feels like we're going to have more swings and surprises, but there's just still a tremendous amount of opportunity. And I think a lot of people walked away, especially the people that didn't care about it. They just want to flip and run. I really encourage people to keep an eye out and just be ready, because there's going to be a lot of crazy price swings. I think we're in for a really wild year, folks. That's my attitude. That's my outlook. That's my giggity,